Amputee Coalition, and welcome to another AC News Flash. It's been just a few short months since we came back from convention conference, and we are all just super excited to have everything moving forward and back to the AC News Flash, hosting partners here for extended conversations. And as we continue to really lean into this value of partnership, we've had Mark from Retire Safe here, we've had Sage here with us before, and I am so happy to have another special guest today. I was able, with our board chair, John Register, to attend the anniversary of the Americans with Disability Act event hosted by AAPD and our guest today. And it was just an incredible event. So I want to say congratulations there. Our government relations person was there as well, Ms. Whitney Doyle, and we're just so excited. We also really value this partnership because we're able to share resources developed by AAPD. You may have seen the Revup materials that we've shared about getting out the disability vote. So important as we close out November and look at where we are now and rev up for next year. With that, I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Maria Town, President and CEO of the American Association with People with Disabilities. Maria, welcome, and I would love to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Cass, and thank you for having me on this AC News Flash. It's just a delight, and I have to give a shout out to our American Association of People with Disabilities board member, John Register. So we share some board leadership across our organizations. It's great to be with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. As we, look into the limb loss and limb difference community, we really know the need of partnering with others in the disability space. And as we see on your website and in resource materials, there are 38 million people living with disabilities who are eligible to vote, who experience barriers. When for all your work and your mission, move that forward. I want to thank you and your staff for your efforts. Our mission, as yours is, we are dedicated year-round to the 5 million plus people living with limb loss and limb difference. And we know that there's been significant improvements since ADA, but as we heard the stories that night at your celebration, some things as common as going to the movies or other day-to-day activities are still quite issues. As we move forward, what are some priorities of AAPD? What are you excited about right now? What would you love to share with our community and have them know?
Well, since you mentioned Revup, Revup is our voting initiative. It stands for Register, Educate, Vote, Use Your Power. And AAPD has developed disability state voting guides for every state in the U.S. And I know we just had a big election, but there are many races and ballot initiatives that might be in a kind of runoff state. And as we all know, like every election is important. A lot of times it's really the presidential election or the federal elections that get a lot of attention, but local elections especially are so important because these are the races and ballot initiatives that I think have some of the most direct impact on people's lives. And so please check out our state voting guides. If you see something that we've actually gotten incorrect, let us know and we'll change it. One of the reasons that we developed these is because we noticed that it was incredibly difficult to find basic information about accessibility, accommodations when voting, etc., on like state websites. So we've pulled together these guides, and we also have 32 disability state voting coalitions that are organized through the Revup Coalition. So if you are interested in getting more involved in building the power of the disability vote, please don't hesitate to check out Revup on the AAPD website and find your coalition.
Awesome. I love the state resources. That's really where our community lives at the state level and activating, as you know, so our Everybody Can Move campaign around insurance fairness and access. So I would tell folks, lean into that, especially those who just voted this week. You know what is in your guide and share it with others. I understand you also have a new partnership letter that is out right now with other organizations came together. What can we know about that? What would members be interested in hearing?
So, Cass, what you're referring to, we released a new letter this week that was from 25 disability organizations calling out the need to end subminimum wages for people with disabilities. As I'm sure you know, and as your members know, employment is a huge, huge issue for the disability community. We consistently have much lower employment numbers than we should. The many people with disabilities live in poverty, and it is currently still legal to pay people with disabilities less than minimum wage. And it's legal through a clause in the Fair Labor Standards Act called 14C. And 14C employers, on average, pay people $3.34 an hour. Many workers earn less than $1. And this practice and policy has been on the books for 90 years. But think about how much has changed, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, not only have we had major advancements in civil rights, like the Americans with Disabilities Act, our job market has changed drastically, right? Like, the types of jobs that are available to all Americans, but particularly people with disabilities, are drastically different than jobs that were available in 1938. And the types of accommodations and supports people can receive are also vastly different. So this policy is based on really outdated stereotypes, and we believe that people with disabilities deserve fair wages for their work. So the Department of Labor is doing a comprehensive review of 14C, and related to kind of this opportunity, we organized a letter with many of the organizations that have done a lot of work on this issue.
Awesome. And we're so happy to hear that, as we at the Amputee Coalition look to support, educate, and advocate, we narrow in on our space, but it's partnerships with organizations such as AAPD that we can ensure that broader space is also covered. So we thank you for your work in there. We have a workforce development program, and we can coach people up, give training, give access, but unless they're getting a fair job and a fair wage, all of that is a moot point. And so really covering that from both sides is so important. And I thank you for that. But you were about to say something else too.
Yeah, I needed to mention, we also, in addition to this letter, we launched a petition. And so if you go to endsubminimumwage.org, you can sign the petition to tell the Department of Labor to end this practice.
Awesome. There we go. Endsubminimumwage.org is the place to go to sign the petition that's out. And as we close it out today, any final words or message for the community living with limb loss, limb difference?
I think we are stronger together. And I know personally, just for everyone's awareness, I have cerebral palsy. And, I think one of the defining aspects of what it can mean to be disabled is isolation. And that is not actually a result of disability. That is a result of ableism and discrimination and inaccessibility. And so I am just so grateful to be in community with you, Cass, and for our organizations to work together. And I just hope that anyone who watches us will reach out to others and start building the community where they're at. So thank you.
I love that. I love how these videos can penetrate the isolation and give people an opportunity to connect with each other. And thank you so much for joining us today. I would remind folks to sign up for AC Connect to connect with folks all the time in the amputee community, those living with limb loss and limb difference. And also look at our website, amputee-coalition.org. And thank you, Maria. Look at their website and resources for AAPD. And we'll be back with more another time for AC Newsflash. Thank you.
Thank you.